And I ask that you stand with us and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Summer, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Benberry?
Here.
Mr. Bradford?
Here.
Mr. Morrison? Ms. Shramke?
Here.
Mr. Shadle?
Here.
Mr. Wade? And Chair Cresilius.
Here. Mr. Bradford, I believe you have the minutes motion.
I do. I move that the reading of the minutes for September 21, 2015 be waived and that the minutes of said meeting as prepared by the Secretary be approved as written.
Second.
Second by Shramke. Are there any corrections, changes, additions? We had kind of an interesting meeting last time, for those of you who weren't here. We met in the basement. Very interesting. Anyway, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
Ms. Shramke?
Aye.
Mr. Shadle?
Aye.
Mr. Benberry?
Aye.
Chair Cresilius.
Aye. Ms. Shramke, you have the Paducah and Louisville Railway.
I move that this commission receive and file the application of the Paducah and Louisville Railroad, Wyatt Bell and Company, and James and Carolyn Nelson for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 801 and 823 Martin Luther King Drive. I further move that the requested approval be given and compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second.
Second by Shadle.
I guess I'll...
You want to
Sure. This is an abandoned right-of-way that used to go through that block, and simply Tract A is being conveyed to White Bell and B to the Nelsons. And then a billboard easement is being created so P&L can maintain that billboard that's existing there now.
I believe there's already an encroachment anyway, isn't there?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
this
the
kind of
couple.
cleans that up.
Play anything to add to that?
We gave you guys a revised plat with an easement configured so P&L could keep access to their billboard and their lease. And this is per Tom Garrett and their legal staff.
So they actually own the billboard, or just the right-of-way that the billboard's on? They rent it?
They've always owned the billboard, and since they're going to transfer title to Nelson, they want to retain an easement to that billboard for maintenance and
Sure.
repair and that sort of thing.
Sure.
And since White Bell is also encroaching, Paducah and Louisville was kind enough they're going to quit claim that narrow tract, so they're not encroaching on the Nelson property.
All right.
That line, the line adjacent, I guess, to these, they're going to keep Tract A as a separate tract, or will that be a part of the White Bell and that line be abolished, that existing line from your IP or your iron pin on Martin Luther King up to the one by the storage building?
The narrow tract A is going to be quit claim to White Bell.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is this boundary line then would be abolished at some point in time,
Could be.
but it's not doing that today.
Not doing that today.
Okay.
Any other comments?
We're creating the track where the billboard is. Is there any minimum that has to be?
Well, I think we're actually creating an easement, are we
It's
not?
just an easement.
Just an easement, actually not a separate tract. Yeah, that was a good question. Any other comments, questions? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Shramke?
Aye.
Mr. Shadle?
Aye.
Mr. Benberry?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
Abstain.
Chair Crecilius.
Aye. Mr. Benberry, you have the David Hutchison.
Yes. I move this commission receive and file the application of David Hutchison Jr. for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 431 and 439 Westwood Boulevard. Further move that the requested approval be given and compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second.
Second by Shadle.
This is just simply an abolishment of the interior property line. I'm assuming Mr. Hutchinson's going to build a house, a new large house on that lot.
Can we assume that the house will face Westwood Boulevard?
It will. It will. And the access is, as designed, is going to be off this alleyway that we planned in Westwood.
The ingress and egress easement in the back?
That is an alleyway.
Okay.
It's has curb and gutter, and it's asphalt paved. So it's a nice entrance into the rear of the home.
That's good.
Now, the size of these lots, is this then combining two building lots by removing that?
It's going to be combining two lots.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Benberry?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
Ms. Shramke?
Aye.
Mr. Shadle?
Aye.
Chair Crecilius.
Aye. Mr. Shadle, you have the Strawberry Hill LLC
Yes,
item?
I do. I move that this commission receive and file the application of Strawberry Hill LLC for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 4600 Village Square Drive. Further move that the requested approval be given in compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second.
Second by Benberry.
This tract is being created out of a 17-acre parcel. It's going to form the north right-of-way of the future James Sanders Boulevard. And it's right behind the old Dallas Medical, which is the Eye Institute now. That'll run along the length of that lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to, anything to add?
Just, any questions? Answer.
When do they plan to build the road?
It's all right.
The road? Do you have any?
I don't think that's been decided yet.
Okay. So basically, they're just subdividing to sell
This
the
is just
lot?
creation of the lot yet to be sold.
Any other questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Shadle?
Aye.
Mr. Benberry?
Aye.
Mr. Bradford?
Aye.
Ms. Shramke? Chair Crecilius.
Aye. And Mr. Bradford, I believe you have the last item of business, City of Paducah.
I do. I move that the commission receive and file the application of the City of Paducah for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 1330 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. I further move that the requested approval be given in compliance with all other applicable provisions of the Paducah subdivision ordinance be waived.
Second.
Second by Shramke.
This is the lot that the city's has owned for quite some time that used to be the old Jefferson apartment complex. And as you all know, this is the site of the new health park that we've been working on and got several grants for. The front end of that on Martin Luther King, we have had discussions if it's going to be residential or retail or a combination. That hasn't been decided yet, but this is what the plat's intended to do, is separate the health park from that commercial development up front. Need to add, Clay?
Because of the grant money, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
It needs to, the property has to be separated, so the park is the park, and the future
Right.
development is not included in the grant.
That easement, the 50-foot easement, that's not an egress-ingress easement. That's basically a public utility easement. 'Cause you'd hate to have somebody driving through there with
Exactly.
a health park.
It's for the, a couple of years ago, when we abolished all the interior property lines, the engineering department and public works wanted to maintain a public utility easement because their sanitary sewer is still running through Harrison.
I just didn't want the vehicles to go through there.
No.
It'd be kind of self-defeating. It's called
Any other comments, questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bradford,
Aye.
Ms. Shrinky,
Aye.
Mr. Shadle,
Aye.
Mr. Benberry,
Aye.
Chair Crecilius.
Aye. Now, Mr. Summer, would you like to talk to us about?
All righty.
Thank you very much for being here.
In the next couple weeks, staff is going to be putting together a zone and text amendment for food trucks. They've popped up all over the country from coast to coast, and we've been approached by a few here in Paducah, but currently we don't have any rules and regs and ordinances in place. Right now there's only 4 cities in Kentucky, Owensboro, Louisville, Lexington, and Covington, that actually has ordinances for food trucks. But so I've had to go above and beyond just here in Kentucky. I've looked at St. Louis, Albuquerque, Boston, and several other places that have them. The purpose of this is this documentation here. This is just to give you an idea of the background that we're going to be looking at whenever we come forward with the zoning text amendment. There will probably be a workshop ahead of time for that I'm going to assume Steve will do whenever the time comes. So we wanted y'all to be prepared before that comes to you.
Actually flipped through this before everyone got here, and it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
It's a really good document as far as background.
Mhm.
What do we want to do, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. It'll be good reading material.
Yes. Yes, it will.
So, that's good to know. Now, I guess my question would be, there are already at least one company now, they may not be doing it anymore, but there's one that used to.
It was on 9th, South 9th Street, I think.
Yeah, Munnels,
Mhm.
out of Munnels, they
Yep.
used to have and do they still have one?
I do not know.
Yeah, they used to come to the dealership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they came to the television
Yeah.
station, too.
I used to go everywhere.
So-
It's a big deal.
The way we're leaning so far is,
See more of it.
like if you have a coffee truck or an ice cream truck, that's going to be different
Right.
than a truck that goes and sets up for a couple hours or all day. If the truck is going to move, say every no longer than 30 minutes or something,
Right.
they wouldn't be necessarily classified under this. Is how I think we're starting to go with it,
Okay.
but we're not sure yet.
All right.
And of course, the health department, I'm sure, will be very
Yes,
involved.
yes, and it's going to be in the ordinance that they've got to go talk to the McCracken County Health Department and get their
Approved.
permits through them.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this tonight.
I know that
Anything
you've
else?
looked at it a little bit. How do you address where they can park? I mean, can they park right in front of a downtown restaurant
That's one of the things we're looking at.
or any restaurant,
In
mall restaurant?
in some cities, in Greenville, South Carolina, they have to be 50 feet away, And in other cities, it can range as much as 250 feet. But here in Paducah, we've got a restaurant literally on every block. So that's just something we're going to have to look at and work through to try to come up with that distance, if there is one.
It could definitely create conflict if they're parking right in front of the door
Yeah.
of a restaurant.
Sure.
Could be.
Absolutely.
Well, and, issues like that come about, not particularly in a food truck, but sometimes if a restaurant expands out into the street
Sure.
and encroaches on
They have their tables and chairs in front of their restaurant. That's
Second Street, for instance, if, somebody sloshes over a little bit too much, maybe the Market House residents or whatever.
It could have, like Saturday after downtown and barbecue on the river, this could affect how all that runs.
Yes,
If this comes in
and there's some cities that specify a distance. You have to be away from the special event, and I would imagine that in our ordinance and the draft one that I've started working on for Quilt Week and Barbecue on the River and Dickens of a Christmas and Oktoberfest and those sort of things, they have to be
Out of the festival area.
out of the festival area. And what I've got drafted so far is 500 feet, but I don't know if that's going to remain that distance or what the end distance will be by the time it gets to you all. So
That's appropriate.
How do these other cities handle where they can and can't go, as far as, do they handle it from a permitted places, like they can park on parallel spots or in parking lots or something like that, or do they handle it on a piecemeal, here's a list of prohibited places?
they mainly do it by zoning, industrial zones, commercial zones, public parks is typically how I've seen it done so far, and that's how I think we're going to go. Commercial zones, industrial zones, the A1, HM, which is hospital medical, and possibly in the parks as well.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about down at the foot of Broadway, beyond the flood wall down there would be
Yeah.
a place that if I owned a food truck would be a prime location.
Yeah.
Is that gonna?
Would be, yeah.
Is that looking like a place where they would
It
be
could
permitted?
That's zoned B2,
I was going to say, is that
I believe.
B2T or B2?
B2, I believe.
B2?
The B2T ends at Water Street.
Water Street.
Then I think the B3 or B2 wraps around it at the riverfront.
Noble Park, too.
Yeah, Noble Park would
Would
be
be.
Yeah, and
a prime location.
how I've got it drafted so far is if they want to go in a city park like Noble Park, or in the case of Carson Park, they've got to get permission from either the Parks Department or McCracken County, whoever has ownership of that park.
That's a good idea, too. Well, I could see something like even Kyler Park, which is
Mhm.
right across the street from Midtown Market.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That'd
be a good place.
So with Carson Park, would the county have to sign or an agreement with them?
Yeah, it would be between McCracken County and the vendor to work out to get that official permission in place. But most cities require them to have that on them at all times. If an agent comes up and says, hey, I need to see your permission from such and such place, here you go. And I think that's how we're going to go with it, too.
That's better than saying, oh, it's back at the office.
Right.
Yeah.
On that note, it might behoove us to make sure that all vendors that are licensed are aware that Carson Park is a county park, because that's a little bit of a unique situation
It
that
is.
Paducah has
Very
there.
unique.
It is true.
It would be a headache to police that. Or like-
Depending on how many we have, yeah.
Guys, these trucks will be, these vendors will be coming in from probably out of state too. How do you be familiar with?
I don't even know what staff it would fall under to police. That'd be tough if we had a bunch of them.
So far, we've only had one or two ask. The most recent one that I talked to, he was wanting to be out by the mall anyway, which is in the Highway Business District, the principally permitted now anyway. So he decided to go ahead and go out there, but I don't know how intense it's going to get. A couple of years ago, I was in Indianapolis, right at the state capitol, and they had them all the way around state capitol up there, so it can get
Yeah, so I'm gonna-
Are they
Like-
considered temporary vendors for a particular area or for a spot? Can they move around like you
they can.
get away from the guy marking your tires for over parking? So you-
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be able to
rotate
move.
the car about a length but so if they went out to the mall, Josh, they'd have to have permission to park
On my
Private property.
property.
on private property, but they could, is there any way they can park on the road at all?
The way that it's drafted now, and I don't know if it'll remain this way, is that they can park on City of Paducah right of way, but not Kentucky, but on account of the traffic counts, things like that. But say, for example, Clark Street out here, if they wanted to pull out here in front of City Hall, they could. That'll just be something that we'll take a closer look
Is
at.
there a time limit on that? Do they say how long they can stay?
They can't be parked overnight.
What?
They can't be parked overnight.
But they can come back again the next morning.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
enforcement will be an issue, the same as it is with our signage, our flashing
Yeah,
signs.
we're looking at a way to actually permit it in a different way. We don't know if an actual business license will be enough, or if they're going to need to do something with a permit from planning or finance. We're not sure how that's going to end up looking like yet.
Does the current ordinance say they can't park overnight, or is that something that will be written?
That'll be new.
Okay, I was thinking.
There is an ordinance.
Yeah.
Guys.
No,
No.
no.
There isn't. There isn't one at all.
Park however long, as long as you don't have a flat tire. So I
Questions, comments?
got your hands full, Josh.
All right.
Absolutely.
We'll look forward to hearing more from you all.
Thank you all.
I do think it's the right time. to
Yeah.
look into it. Yeah, right. I see.
That signed. You ready?
Do we have a motion to adjourn? Did we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, okay.
Oh, Kathy, did you have a motion?
Is you going to bring that back to me and?
Kathy, did we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't make a motion to adjourn, did I?
I think you should.
Yes. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second. We have a motion to adjourn and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign.
You're a smart one.